Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Snackbox. Hope you all are having a great day because we have some amazing news for the new Halloween fusion. And look at this, guys. This is the new Halloween fusion. Sanguine Maria. Absolutely stunning design. Looks like she's straight out of a horror movie, and I absolutely love it. Um, Also, these red things like seem like they're from Chimera. These tentacles that come out of that portal, and also these red veins on her dress. Pretty amazing looking champion. But this champion is not only looking amazing, the kit is also pretty nuts. All right, so here is the kit. It's a legendary force champion from the Undead Hordes faction, attack based, and the name is Sanguine Maria. Sanguine is kind of like a blood red color. So yeah, the A1 Hematic Blades, I hope I'm saying this right, attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit has a 33% chance of granting an extra turn, cannot gain more than one extra turn on this A1. Now you might be asking yourself why, and we're going to get there in a second. This will definitely make sense. You can push the damage of this A1 by 30%, which is a lot. It's quite a lot. A free hitter on an A1 with a chance to get an extra turn, not bad. Then the A2, Sanguine Fissure, 4-turn cooldown can be booked down to 3 turns. Attacks one enemy, will ignore 33% of the target's defense, will ignore 99% of the target's defense, stone skin, and block damage buffs instead if this skill is used on a turn number that is divisible by 3. Now, what does that mean? Basically, on every third turn she takes, so turn 3, turn 6, turn 9, turn 12, and so on, she will ignore 99% of the target's defense, stone skin, and block damage. Now, the only thing that I'm wondering here is by the time she takes 3 turns, is there any enemy left that has stone skin still? So that's kind of the thing with this, but she's also ignoring block damage, which is pretty good, and she's force affinity. We have, a lot of magic affinity champions with block damage. We have Sigfrund, Nice, and so on. We also have Niame, Marichka. So yeah, there's a lot of block damage going on. So a champion that ignores that, it is conditional, but still is very helpful for the current PvP arena meta, and this will definitely be a PvP champion. If the target is killed, increases the cooldowns of all enemy skills by 3 turns, and this effect cannot be resisted if the skill is used on a turn number that is divisible by 3. And 3 books only, right? We have 2 books for the A1, 3 for the A2, so that's 5 so far, not bad. And then the A3, Gore Scream, attacks one enemy before attacking, removes all buffs from all enemies. So we have a buff removal, and this effect cannot be resisted by enemies with a number of buffs that is divisible by 3. Who would have guessed? Will attack all remaining enemies with less than 66% HP. Grants an extra turn if this champion is under a number of buffs that is divisible by 3. Everything is based on the number 3 here with this champion. So far we have a stone skin ignore, a block damage ignore, almost 100% defense ignore, a chance to get an extra turn on the A1, and a buff removal, as well as another AoE attack, and an extra turn on the A3 if you match the conditions. So actually, a really interesting kit, and I think this champion looks like a lot of fun, but you have to be somewhat lucky with the buffs the enemies have and she has, and also you want to make sure that you use those skills when she's on her third turn. So I think this is probably, the hard part about this champion, but we will see how this plays out once we see her in action. But so far, this looks very promising. The passive, Say Her Name, each subsequent hit from this champion deals 33% more damage, stacks up to 99%, resets after the 99% damage bonus is applied. So if she uses this A1, the free hitter, right, her first hit will deal normal damage, then the second hit will deal 30% more damage, and then the third hit will deal 66% more damage. That's how I'm understanding it. And then once you reach 99% with the next hit, it will reset, and then you start ramping it up again. So actually pretty insane, right? It's a lot of damage that she's gaining there. But it goes on. Each subsequent hit this champion receives deals 30% less damage and stacks up to 99%. So on the third hit she receives, she will get almost no damage, right? Which gives her some form of survivability if she doesn't get one shot somehow, which is pretty interesting. Very, very interesting passive, and I think this is a good one, right? Give her some damage mitigation. I know, attack-based champions are most likely very squishy, glass cannons most of the time, and are getting one shot a lot. But if you can get some protection on her, and then this passive, might help her to survive some big hits. Whenever an enemy is revives this champion with 33% HP and 66% turn meter. That's actually a lot of turn meter from a revive, and it's on her passive, which has no cooldown. After being revived, places a True Fear debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. This debuff cannot be resisted or blocked. So that is insane. The only thing that I don't like about this is that there is a chance that this True Fear debuff gets reflected by a wand, or you get polymorphed. So that's kind of like, I don't know if that True Fear is really helping her or not, but it depends on what the enemy team looks like. But if they have like a polymorph, blessing, or wands, which is most of the time the case, this is not so good. But when enemy teams are reviving, she's like, hold on, you're not gonna revive your team, you're gonna revive me as well. So that's kind of crazy, and it has no cooldown. So that's a pretty interesting passive as well. And then a crowd control debuff, just from getting revived, that cannot be resisted and also not be blocked. So you don't need accuracy on her. This is really looking promising, but we need to see, with those type of champions, we need to see how high the multipliers are. But again, with almost 100% def ignore, you almost don't need to build her with a def ignore set like lethal or merciless if you can make sure to get free turns. Yeah, pretty interesting kit in my opinion. Looks really fun, and I'm looking forward to play around with this champion. And then last but not least, we have an all battles attack aura, 33%, pretty high as well. There we go, guys. This champion gives me a little bit of Rotos vibes with the extra turn on the A1, and then the survivability on the passive, ignoring block damage and survivability buffs. Just completely different, obviously, but gives me somewhat of a Rotos vibe, and I think people are going to build her in a similar way. Maybe in a 9-piece Merciless set, but you don't really need the Def Ignore if you hit 3 turns quickly. So maybe a Relentless set would be nice here and make her faster, because you can use speed sets and so on. So yeah, pretty interesting champion, and I'm pretty curious what people will come up with, what builds will be used on this champion, because this is definitely not a traditional nuker, right? It's very conditional with the free turns and so on. So yeah, pretty amazing. And here's some info when this fusion is going to start. So that's next Thursday, October 23rd. So you guys still have a week for, saving resources for this fusion, which I would definitely do because this looks like a really, really strong one, especially for Arena. I think this is a great champion. Force Affinity, always love to see that for Arena. Attack-based champions most of the times have pretty high multipliers. But yeah, we will see. So we have 1 week time to gather up some resources, and from Thursday next week, the fusion will start, and it's going to be a mixed fusion event. And that means you will probably be able to collect fragments for epics and then fuse those epics, level them, ascend them, and fuse those epics into the fusion champion. Every time so far, those were, cheaper than the traditional ones, obviously. So it's not going to be too bad, hopefully. But most likely, we will, get the hero's path for Leo, or the guaranteed event for Leo. We don't know if it's a hero's path before or during the fusion. So keep that in mind. You want to definitely stack up some shards for this if you want to go for this fusion. But as I said, this champion looks absolutely fun, and I would definitely go for this, especially if you're enjoying Arena a lot. And then here, once again, the champion. Yeah, looks absolutely amazing. I mean, it's such a great design. I think it's called Corruption, the red thing. That's like the same thing from Chimera. And yeah, pretty damn amazing. All right, guys, but that's pretty much it for this video. Let me know in the comments below, how do you feel about this fusion? I think it's very, very good and looks very fun. And yeah, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed, please hit the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more raid content. The YouTube algorithm is going to suggest you a video that you might like right here, and see you in the next one.